In this video, I want to just go through an example where I show you how the 6-step program is carried out, how it's done, and you can try to do it yourself as I'm going through this. So to begin, you should read through this example, and there's a link to a document where this is written out right next to the link for the video, or you can read it here on the screen. Or if you have the version of the textbook that includes chapter 3, you can read this on page 88, although most of you don't have that version of the textbook. But in any case, take a few minutes right now just to read through this. If you want to read it on the screen here, you can pause it, read these 2 paragraphs. Okay, and then here's the last paragraph. All right, now if you've had a chance to read it one time through just to get an idea of what's going on, you now want to read through it a second time and start to look for those things that fit into the 6-step program, those concepts that that are described in each of the different steps, especially, well, in particular, the first 4 steps. So we read through this first paragraph, so we kind of get an idea of what the problem here is. In the 19th century, women were dying from childbed fever. Semmelweis was a physician who was concerned about it, and in particular about why it was so high in this hospital that he worked in, or in this maternity ward that he worked in, higher than it was in this other maternity ward in his hospital. But besides that, just getting an introduction, we don't get a whole lot that's specifically useful in this first paragraph. But as we look at the second paragraph, we can see we start out with a very clear statement of sort of what the problem is. Semmelweis has been trying to discover why the rate's so much higher in the maternity ward where the doctors work. And then next we see that we have something that looks like data. So this guy, another physician, gets a cut and then he dies with very specific symptoms, the same ones that the women who have childbed fever exhibit. Okay, and then next, Semmelweis wondered whether the disease might be caused by something in this cadaveric matter, the stuff that they are messing around with while they're doing their autopsies. So here we're getting something that looks like a model, a proposed explanation for why the death rate is so much higher, proposed explanation for this problem up here. Okay, and as we just continue to read through a little bit more, so we haven't really committed ourselves to anything, but we've made a few notes about what we've seen so far. So Semmelweis reasoned that if this idea, so i.e. if this model that we've just been introduced to is right, then the death rate should be cut dramatically simply by doing this stuff. So this looks an awful lot like a prediction. If our model is correct, then this is what we should find. Let's see, make a note of that here. Okay, and then we see that Semmelweis made this rule, I guess, that no physicians who enter the area where the pregnant women are, or the new mothers are, go in there without first washing their hands in this chlorinated lime. Okay, and then he found that after that had been done, that the death rate did fall in the first division. So I guess the data could be spelled out a little more clearly, but we certainly get the idea that when he did this, when he made the doctors wash their hands, the death rate fell. So there, again, we've got some data. Okay, so just having read through it, we can sort of see that we've got the basic structure of our 6-step program. We have a problem. Why is the death rate so high? We have a proposed explanation, i.e. a model. It's caused by
something in the bodies that they're performing autopsies on that's being transmitted to the women. Now notice that our proposed explanation here, our model, is not something that can be directly checked. In the 1800s, they were in no position to see if there were bacteria or viruses or anything at that size was actually on the doctor's hands. So they couldn't directly check that. So that makes it, another thing we want our model to have. Can't be directly checked. And then, so since it can't be, Semmelweis forms this prediction. The death rate should fall if we make sure that we cleanse our hands really well before we inspect the women, or before they come in contact with the pregnant women. So that's the prediction. They do it. Data and prediction agree. That's basically what we got here. And so consequently, sort of that, although it doesn't say it specifically, the lesson of the passage is that the model probably is correct. No guarantee, but probably correct. Okay, so having gone through that much, I'm going to stop this video and create a second part where I just type up in the 6 steps what we've figured out here.